Funding for Avery Talks About Stuff was made possible in part by the YouTube AdSense program and by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel where I cover nostalgic, obscure, or otherwise strange content. So since Trump 2 Electric Boogaloo started, I've noticed that quite a lot of people did not pay attention in social studies class. Because last week I witnessed somebody arguing that, well, the president always makes a bunch of executive orders, and that's how the majority of our laws get passed. You know, Trump isn't doing anything different. And I said out loud, they've never seen the three-ring circus. And then that made me sad that some people might have never seen Schoolhouse Rock like I did as a kid. And then I wanted to make this video because my channel lives at the intersection between nostalgia and politics, apparently. Move this down so you can see me knitting. So as I get angry, you know that I'm still trying to create a calming environment for the general viewer. For those of you who don't know, Schoolhouse Rock was a series of educational animated music videos primarily made in the 1970s. However, there was a big resurgence in the 90s when they started airing on Disney's Saturday Morning, which is why a lot of people my age had Schoolhouse Rock. I had Schoolhouse Rock on a collection DVD that had every Schoolhouse Rock ever made on a big DVD that you could hit shuffle on because I was homeschooled. And the thing about Schoolhouse Rock is they're not really like leftist propaganda or anything. They were created in the 70s by an advertising executive who saw his son struggling in school, but noticed that he could memorize all the lyrics to all the Rolling Stones songs. Again, it was the 70s. And so he just decided that putting education to music would help kids, and also making it a fun little cartoon would make it, you know, fun and appealing, and they would learn without even realizing it. And it worked. There's a couple generations that grew up with Schoolhouse Rock. My parents grew up with Schoolhouse Rock, and then me and my brother did too. And while some of it is old and outdated and, you know, they are way more patriotic than I felt like being in a very long time, it's kind of what makes it the perfect rebuttal for Trump supporters, right? Because how many of us have an old person in our life that's like, oh, you know, America needs to go back to the good old days. Life was so much simpler back then before we started dealing with all this woke shit. Schoolhouse Rock is not woke. So let's use it to teach people stuff like it's always been used for. Feel free to send this video to any insufferable Trump-supporting family members you might have. They can come yell at me in my comments section. It's just going to up my engagement. I'm on camera, focus back on me. It's like ASMR I did not intend on doing today. It's Schoolhouse Rockin', but you walk the block of your favorite Schoolhouse Rock. I know I said the Schoolhouse Rock wasn't woke. I feel like Rocky was pretty chill as a human being. That might just be because he does look like AOC's husband. That might be what's giving me that vibe, but, you know, we love Schoolhouse Rocky. When you're in conjunction, punch your punching. Yeah, get up some knowledge, rockin' round the clock. Let's start with the one that you probably still know, even if you've never really watched Schoolhouse Rock. You've probably seen I'm Just a Bill.
Well, I wonder who that sad little scrap of paper is.
Do you ever feel like a sad little scrap of paper drifting through the wind, wanting to start again?
When I started, I wasn't even a bill. I was just an idea. Some folks back home decided they wanted a law passed, so they called their local congressman, and he said, "You're right, there ought to be a law."
Bill is now going to explain to us, the viewer, how passing laws in America typically and should work, which is representatives from different districts represent their constituents, who then raise concerns, and then this leads to laws being lobbied for and bills being created. You'll notice that at no point Bill mentions corrupt billionaires who buy the country for $277 million and then dismantle the government, as an old guy who's just kind of like a puppet for Russia yells about trans people. Anyway.
I'm just a bill. Yes, I'm only a bill. And I got as far as Capitol Hill.
Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Oh, girl, baby girl.
Listen to those congressmen arguing.
Okay, I'm sorry, and you're welcome. Have fun with that clip, internet.
I hope they decide to report on me favorably, otherwise I may die.
Die?
Yeah, die in committee.
I forgot how terrifying the implications are in this universe that bills are living sentient beings that could physically die if not passed on the House floor. I do remember now being very concerned for Bill and all of his Bill friends.
I'm off to the White House where I'll wait in our line with a lot of other bills for the president to sign. And if he signs me, then I'll be alone.
I want to point out, in case you missed it, bill, like the actual bill that they're trying to pass, is that school buses should have to stop on railroad tracks. So I would say, if this was me talking a few years ago, you might hear me say, who in the living world would vote no on that? But we do live in a reality where the Supreme Court just voted yes on raw sewage and drinking water. So, who knows what's going to happen day to day.
He signed your bill. Now you're a law. Oh, yeah.
All right, let's move on from Bill. What else do we want to watch? There's quite a few history bits that I want to look at because it seems like a lot of people don't know much about them.
There's gonna be fireworks on the 4th of July.
Fireworks make no sense on the 4th of July. I get it, but isn't the thing that a lot of veterans go through with PTSD, surrounding loud sounds? I feel like maybe on the day that we celebrate our independence, we don't traumatize the people that are already traumatized because a military-industrial complex made them fight for our independence. Well, and securing up oil, but you know what I mean.
Like Thomas Paine once wrote, it's only common sense that if a government won't give you your basic rights, you better get another government.
If the government won't give you your most basic rights, you better get a new government. Hard agree.
Said we had the right of life and liberty and the pursuit of happiness.
Oh, look, there goes J.D. Vance and his couch.
You don't give us our freedom now, you're gonna see some fireworks.
We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights.
Shout out to the little kid that couldn't say inalienable in the booth. I can barely say it. I actually thought I wasn't going to be able to right now. And that sure would be embarrassing if I said something stupid publicly.
$8 million for making mice transgender. This is real.
Our life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
We really keep playing that joke out in front of the children, huh? I mean, it's all the family first people that voted for the pussy grabber, so I can't say I'm surprised. Let's watch this one called No More Kings. Seeing as Trump wants to have the White House tweet out on his behalf, "Long live the king," with shitty AI art. Let's do that.
The pilgrims sailed the sea to find a place to call their own.
Again, just to reiterate my disclaimer, fuck the pilgrims, and I also don't fuck with that animation choice, but But anyway, continuing on.
They swore their loyalty until the very end. Anything you say, king, it's okay, king. You know it's kind of scary on your own.
Wow, I really forgot how they made the pilgrims out to be a bunch of cucks.
Anything I say, do it my way now. Anything I say, do it my way.
I'd say, is this how you guys want to be remembered, Trump and all of his supporters? But after Trump posted that Gaza AI video that I'm still recovering from, I don't think that man has any shame left.
Don't you get to feeling independent, cause I'm gonna force you to obey. The colonies complained, the king said, I don't care.
Yeah, they made the King of England super cunty in this one.
Gonna show you how we feel, we're gonna dump this tea.
I do love that in all the teachings of the Boston Tea Party, it's just kind of taught to Americans as hey, these guys were so English that they put up with the king's shit until he started coming for their tea. Then all of a sudden they got big mad.
With no more king.
We're going to elect a president.
No more king. He's gonna do what the people want.
And just think, in a few short decades from when this was made, we're gonna have a South African businessman who makes shitty, ugly cars running the country. Let's watch the preamble of the Constitution, since Trump wants to get rid of it. The Constitution, not the Schoolhouse Rock cartoon, although he probably would try if he had ever seen it.
Do you know about the government? Can you tell me about the Constitution?
Most of the people in government could not. No, they don't know anything.
To write a list of principles for keeping people free. And they put those principles down on paper and called it the Constitution.
I'm trying to imagine how I would explain to me of just a few years ago how we would be in this position that we're in now, where Reagan Republicans hate the Constitution, don't believe in it anymore, and they're forcing leftist progressives to be the ones to stand up for it? Like, don't get me wrong, we need our Constitution. I fuck with the Constitution, but like, wasn't it just like a couple of years ago that we were saying we couldn't get guns out of schools because the Constitution? Which one is it, guys?
The USA was just starting out a whole brand new country. And so our people spelled it out. They wanted a land of liberty.
Okay, guys, small nitpick. We did not have all those states when the preamble was written. I feel like that's confusing to children.
You ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America.
Yeah, when the businessmen start telling you that you should hate the Constitution as an American, be concerned. Like, I'll never not be confused by the fact that the biggest conspiracy theorists I know are all like looking at the state of the government and being like, no, nothing weird or unseemly or untrustworthy could ever be happening here. I'm comfortable with this. Let's next watch the video about the 19th Amendment, since the SAVE Act is a kind of hot button topic. If passed, it would require people to provide a birth certificate or passport before registering to vote. You already have to prove that you're a citizen to vote, by the way. I really think this is just pandering to, like, the racists in the right-wing base that really do believe that a bunch of undocumented immigrants are voting, which is not happening in any significant numbers if you were to believe any credible source of information. But since the SAVE Act looks like it would require a passport, some people are concerned that this bill is secretly meant to take away voting rights of married women because their name on their birth certificate would not match the name on their driver's license or passport if they've taken their husband's name. Now, we did have a literal pastor just say like 3 days ago that women are like 5-year-olds and you wouldn't let a 5-year-old vote, so oof. And I definitely think that this voting base, Trump, his supporters, they've proven on large scale that they don't respect women. But I don't think this bill is designed to completely repeal the 19th Amendment. I think it's more of like meant to intimidate people of color and just kind of fire up their base. And I'm personally more concerned about the, racist implications of this bill, because from the Republicans' perspective, like, white women, unfortunately, kind of showed up for Trump in this past election. So I don't know why he would want them, just for self-serving purposes, to not be allowed to vote. I don't think like Midwestern white moms are the ones really being targeted by voter suppression, is what I'm saying. No one should be targeted by voter suppression. And I do get the issue, but I think it's a bigger issue than what a lot of people are talking about. But anyway, let's watch the 19th Amendment video.
Now you have heard of women's rights and how we've tried to reach new heights if we're all created equal. That's us too.
I love her. I wanted to be her when I grew up.
Well, sure, some men bowed down and called us misses. Yeah. Let us hang the watch out and wash the dishes. While we were suffering until suffering.
Yeah, I mean, even today, we still have, guys that just kind of see women as potential braless wives to make them a sandwich unasked for. Yes, Ninja's gonna catch strays in this video. I just decided that right now.
And now we pull down on the lever, cast our ballot, and we endeavor.
Was voting actually more fun back in the day? Like I've been led to believe. I never got to pull down on a lever or go into a little booth. I just get to put a little key card into a computer and then scream into the void at my options.
Then Susan B., Anthony, and Julia Howe, Lucretia Mott, they showed us how.
Now, I will say real quickly, while all suffragettes do deserve to be remembered, there is kind of a big problem in the way that we teach about the suffragette movement because we tend to leave out all the black women and leave out the fact that a lot of white suffragettes were very racist towards them. So real quick, I'm going to link it in the description box, but I pulled up a article of the suffragette movement. We have Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, Marianne Shadd Carey, Mary Church Terrell, Nannie Helen Burroughs, and Ida B. Wells. And just to read you a little bit about Frances Ellen Watkins Harper, just because I wasn't taught this in school, and so I find it interesting. At a time in America when the majority of black people were enslaved and women were rarely encouraged to have political opinions, much less share them in public, Frances Ellen Watkins Harper became a genuine celebrity as an orator, second only to abolitionist Frederick Douglass in terms of prominent African-American writers of her era. The poet, essayist, and novelist frequently went on speaking tours to discuss slavery, civil rights, and suffrage, and donated many of the proceeds from her books to the Underground Railroad. When it came to the cause of women's suffrage, Harper was convinced it would not be achieved unless black and white women worked together. But when Harper initially worked with leaders like Stanton and Anthony, she was also one of the first women to call them out in terms of their racism. Harper's most famous confrontation came when she spoke at the 1866 National Women's Rights Convention. "You white women speak here of rights," Harper told the crowd, calling them out for their lack of female solidarity across racial divides. "I speak of wrongs."
Since 1920, sisters unite.
Woo, women! Now let's watch the Great American Melting Pot since Trump. I mean, he isn't even really the president right now. Should I keep just putting it on Trump? Since they all just want to, do away with birthright citizenship and immigration, let's watch the Great American Melting Pot.
My grandfather had his father's cap he brought from Italy.
And that kid, Luigi Vinci, free Luigi, he was sitting up with me crocheting all night. He kept saying that he would never own a gun, which was pretty weird, but, he kept saying it.
Lovely Lady Liberty with her book of recipes and the finest one she's got. The Great American Melting Pot.
Okay, guys, I'm with you in spirit, but this definitely makes it look like Lady Liberty's cooking those kids. Also, I do not remember, but I just have this terrible feeling that the animation for other ethnicities might not be super great. So again, just want to reiterate that.
America was founded by the English, but also by the Germans, Dutch, and French.
Well, it was colonized by the English, but also by the Germans, Dutch, and French.
So any kid could be the president.
Including a South African oligarch Nazi. We did it, guys. Land of the free.
It doesn't matter where you're from or your religion.
Yeah, aside from that questionable animation choice, I feel like Christian nationalists really could use this refresher course, right?
Ooh, what a stew, red, white, and blue.
Yeah, don't refer to it as a stew. There's people in it. You got the imagery of kids jumping into a pot of boiling water. Okay. Anyway, it's a lovely sentiment.
Those 19th century immigrants sailed to reach the USA.
Also, Republicans, because I know there's going to be a couple of you in the comments, because I did kind of invite everybody in my audience to send this to you. Don't tell me that it's about coming in legally or coming in a controlled way, because Ellis Island literally existed to be the port where thousands of people came day by day into America. It was kind of a founding principle.
What good ingredients, liberty and immigrants.
dance.
See, I don't feel like we should call immigrants ingredient. But anyway,
Go on and ask your grandma, hear what she has to tell. How great to be American and something else as well.
okay, one, I know all the comments are going to say that grandmother reminds everybody of me, which, fair, I guess. But I take it as a compliment. I always thought that Polish grandmother was adorable as hell.
The great American melting pot. The great American melting pot.
Yeah, so this one's dedicated not just to the Trump administration, not just to the Republicans, also to all the centrist Democrats that want to act like all the shit that they've been saying about immigration is valid. Like what's her name that did the Democratic rebuttal to that, clown show State of the Union, and she was like, yeah, we should protect our borders. It's like, no, don't validate what they're saying. Talk to me about how we're going to create a path for immigrants to come in and not buy the fucking gold card, which is just going to be a pay-to-play halfway to let a bunch of rich oligarchs in. Because when I look around America, I really do think we're lacking in rich people paying their way to the top, Something America has always needed more of. Also, celebrate our differences. Don't expect people to assimilate into whatever the fuck American culture is. That's not a thing. Let's watch the three-ring circus.
Talking about the government and how it's arranged, divided in three like a circus. Ring one executive.
Yeah, now that I'm a grown-up that can vote and is politically active, the circus analogy really takes on a whole new meaning, doesn't it?
Step right up and visit ring number one. The show's just begun. Meet the president. I am here to see that the laws get done. The ringmaster of the government.
Yeah, Trump doesn't really have ringmaster energy. He kind of just has WWE SmackDown energy, which I know is appealing to some people, but I promise you, I mean it as an insult.
Focus your attention on ring number three. The judiciary's in the spotlight, balancing the wrongs with your rights.
That's generally the idea. It's kind of a different balancing act for the rich than it is for everybody else, but you know what I mean.
No one part can be more powerful than any other is. That's what we call checks and balances.
I don't have any comments to that one. That's just a reminder to any Trump supporter that wants to say Trump is the president and the Supreme Court shouldn't get in his way.
The audience is kind of like the country, keeping an eye on their performance.
And for anyone about to say that I'm unpatriotic by making this video and I owe the president respect, oh, fuck no. I'm keeping an eye on his performance. And I don't care for it. Oh, I need more yarn.
With government, it's got feeling.
Okay, those are the main, history, civics ones that I wanted to cover right now. But, let's pop over to the one about energy because, Elon Musk is just trying to destroy anything that's going to stop rich people like him from destroying the planet. And Republicans have been doing that for forever, so this is nothing new.
Sometimes I think I'm running out of energy. A windmill can make the breeze deliver.
It feels like a lifetime ago because it was all the way back in Trump's first presidency, which every day feels like a lifetime when it comes to Trump. But what was it? Didn't he say something really stupid about windmills a long time ago?
An economy based on wind. I never understood wind. I know windmills very much. I've studied it better than anybody. I know it's very expensive. They're made in China and Germany mostly. Very few made here, almost none. But they're manufactured tremendous, if you're into this, tremendous fumes, gases are spewing into the atmosphere. We have a world, right? So the world is tiny compared to the universe. So tremendous amount of fumes and everything. You talk about the carbon footprint. Fumes are spewing into the air, right? Spewing. They're noisy. They kill the birds. You want to see a bird graveyard?
Again, not even top of the list of things I'm concerned about when it comes to things Trump has said, but it's still stupid.
Then one day, men discovered that coal would do it better.
Yeah, Republicans are still obsessed with coal. And they say, like, oh, well, we care about coal miners and their jobs, not having any respect for how dangerous coal mining is. And being willfully ignorant to the fact that those jobs can be converted over into the amount of jobs that are necessary for clean energy. Well, what do I know? I'm just a little lady on the internet. I couldn't possibly do the work of a 300-year-old man in Congress.
But suddenly a mighty roar came up from under the ground. Soon a gushing oil soaked all who stood around.
Oil also comes back into play mainly because of Trump's Drill Baby Drill initiative, which is such a cool thing to hear representatives on the Republican side of the aisle chant back at him at the State of the Union like a fucking cult, but okay.
Nuclear and thermal and solar. If we miss, we'll get colder and colder.
Also, someone teach Trump to say nuclear, because I already lived through the Bush administration and I can't do it again.
If everyone tries a bit harder, fuel will go farther and farther.
I mean, yeah, individuals can definitely aid in, green initiatives, but it also is definitely like a systemic problem that's going to take punishing corporations for not being environmentally conscious. Let's watch the nervous system one just because of the effect that Trump has on mine.
Hey, there's a telegraph line. You got yours and I got mine. It's called the nervous system.
Does anyone else feel like if we're using the analogy that your nervous system is like a telegraph line, then yours specifically is just that pilot episode of Downton Abbey where they find out that the Titanic sank? Because I think that's how my nervous system is operating on a day-to-day basis.
The central nervous system is the brain and the spine. The brain controls the system and the spine is the line.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but a couple of things that I found very helpful for kind of resetting your nervous system, so to speak, when you are very, very stressed, because your girl has quite a bit of experience with panic attacks. Icing your vagus nerve can help, and legs up the wall. I've been trying to kind of do legs up the wall yoga every night before I go to bed, and has actually been helping me calm down so I can actually sleep, which has been kind of a rare commodity lately. I wonder why.
There's a telegram for you, kid, and it's at an awkward time. It says you've got to go on stage and you forgot your line.
That one hits too close to home, not to make this about me. I was in my first ever experience being in a stage play last fall. It was Much Ado About Nothing. And when I went out on stage for the first time, I think my nervous system tried to kill me. Almost got JFK'd, but my own nervous system.
And when you're scared, your nerves rev up the speed.
No, I dropped this stitch. This is Biden's America in action. I was going to be petty and continue on by taking a look at grammar and math videos. Grammar because Trump can't speak, and math because he, thinks he won a bunch of electoral votes that he didn't win, but it's not worth it. I think I've said what I came here to say. Well, I mean, this is my house, so you came to me. Anyway, I think it's really important to identify how resistance looks to each of us individually, because it's super easy to just be like, well, there's nothing I can do to save the world, so I'm not going to do anything. Whereas there are absolutely things each and every one of us can do just by speaking up. And, even if it's not going to, change much, this video isn't going to change much, but I am exercising my right to free speech, to criticize the government, to criticize the president, all things that deeply upset this administration, and it is just more of a reason when they try to give you pushback to continue doing those things. But it's also important, as AOC said, to find, I can't remember exactly what she said, so I'm paraphrasing, but she basically was making the point that, finding joy and finding peace in these very trying times is in and of itself an act of rebellion. and is very vital to keeping a movement alive, because if you get burnt out, then they win. And here's the thing. It's why I'm sitting here knitting while I do this. It's why my next video is going to be something very peaceful and calm. It is important to not sacrifice your peace because you feel like you're not supposed to have it right now. And I know it's very hard, and I know that, God, I'm not even, we're all affected by the bullshit, but there's so many groups of people that are affected worse than I am. People of color, the queer community, the trans community specifically. And it's just like, I'm not here to tell anyone how to feel. But I do want to kind of use my platform even more than what is typical with me as kind of a sounding board for what's going on right now. We all know my channel is called Avery Talks About Stuff for a reason, because I've never had a problem speaking my mind. I've learned that you don't really regret honesty in the long run. When Trump posted that Trump Gaza AI video, I was quite frankly in shock in a way that I haven't been in a while when it comes to Trump, because sometimes it just feels like you can't be shocked by him anymore. You can't be shocked by life anymore just because of everything going on. But I was so angry, and it was one of those things where you just kind of wonder if there's anything you could have done to not get here. I remember I did my 24-hour charity stream for Project Hope at the end of, that must have been 2023. I dedicated it specifically to raising money for the humanitarian efforts in Gaza specifically. But when I saw that Trump video, and maybe this won't make any sense, but I just felt like even the things that I did do to kind of like fight against this literal genocide that's happening, it's just easy to feel like it's never enough, right? It's like, maybe I should have come across angrier. Maybe I should have used more jarring language, which honestly, I don't even know that I could have done at the time with the way that YouTube was censoring and getting the whole stream taken down would probably not help the cause very much. But I just, in times like these, it just feels like everything you do is inadequate. But the little things that you do matter so much. Like, our community has raised money for not just Gaza, but other causes that we believe in. And we've created a space where we can speak. And, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue creating a safe space for you and me, and also a space to scream into the void and hope that maybe somebody out there hears it, and at least maybe you'll feel like you aren't alone in feeling the way that you feel. So, I don't know. I'm just rambling at this point. So I think that's it for this video. Thank you guys for being here. Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, subscribing, sharing. Everything you do to support this channel means the world to me. If you're new here and you're a fan of nonsense, maybe consider sticking around because I post nonsense all the time. And remember, my name is Avery. I'm a YouTuber who say so because thanks to you guys, this is technically a YouTube channel. Bye, everybody.